XRP has completely changed over the last 14 years. And I am correct in saying that the last 14 years because it did originate in 2012 on the XRPL. Back then it was named Ripples, if you guys can remember back that far. However, everything has changed over this last almost decade and a half as blockchain technology has continued to ramp up. So I think it's important to understand what XRP's role actually is and what it means for you, the token holder, because I do believe that some people have the completely wrong idea about what XRP is today. They're still thinking about it what it was back in 2017, 2018. And remember, we can ignore reality, but we can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. So where is XRP at today? What do we need to know as retail investors? And what does it mean for us going forward? Because we can't know where we're going if we don't know where we've been. Tell me where that quote's from. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure to engage in the chat. We've got a full slate ready to go today because some of you came in 2017, 2018, myself 2019, and others came in recently at all-time highs, and they're getting mixed signals or mixed messages on what exactly XRP is designed to do. Anything from Jake Claver's domino theory all the way to people saying it's a scam and it's not worth anything, and the creators are dumping on people. So what does it all come down to? Well, the biggest problem is that the XRP most people still see isn't the XRP that exists anymore. XRP began as a bridge asset back in 2012, really 2013 when it fully came on board, but even back then it was called something else. It was called Ripples. That got changed. Ripple became the financial infrastructure around the globe since then. It is completely built out, and we're going to cover the full stack. But because of that, the business model for Ripple has completely changed. And with that, the token's role has to evolve with it. Because now we're living in a world with tokenized assets, full-blown institutional adoption ramping up at scale, and proven real-world settlement actually taking place on public blockchains with a real cross-border settlement taking place on the XRPL. However, it did not involve XRP. And we have to pay attention to what's happening with programmable finance now and AI finance moving forward. What if we really think about it, the world that exists today around blockchain technology is completely different than the world that existed 10 years ago as far as what is and what the expectations will be. So we have to adapt our thesis as we move forward because the world changes. The original XRP vision, the old way, sender would go to the sending bank, to the correspondent bank, to the correspondent bank, to the receiving bank, to the receiver. However, that took days to settle high-cost trapped capital. The XRP's way was instant, liquid, and borderless using XRP as the bridge asset. It took seconds to settle. It was much, much lower in cost. It freed up capital, and it created full transparency end to end on the ledger. And as this has moved out, we have learned that full transparency is not going to work for global settlement and finance. The institutions won't allow it. Adaptations have been made. We will take care to mention everything. So XRP was designed back then to solve real problems in global payments, to solve the pre-funded banking problem, the instant liquidity movement, and provide a neutral bridge asset for faster and cheaper cross-border settlement. This was the original vision of XRP. We've heard it all before, but now it has changed. Ripple has quietly changed everything. They now acquired standard custody, acquired Hidden Road, now Ripple Prime, acquired Rail, acquired G Treasury, acquired Palisade. They have moved from just a payments company to a full institutional stack. And that all happened since May of 2024 to November of 2025. Literally within an 18-month period, went from being just a payments company to the full institutional rails around the globe. Payments, prime brokerage, treasury management, custody, stablecoins, and tokenized RWAs. We haven't even talked about RLUSD yet. We will get to that. But they have expanded well far beyond payments, and they acquired their custody infrastructure and treasury infrastructure, which the major institutions will need. And their prime brokerage is plugged in with the DTCC. Again, with what they talked about with Ripple Prime being a part of those 50 conglomerates, along with the Canton network. But they invested over $4 billion, acquired 10 plus regulatory licenses over that same time frame. Now they have over 75 total. They serve over 300 institutional clients in 90 markets. They are the full global institutional stack. So what does that mean for XRP? And let's really dive into this financial stack so we can understand what that means for XRP. Multiple different business layers. They still focus on payments, but they now also have their prime brokerage, which is a multi-asset prime brokerage and clearing through Ripple Prime. Again, $13 trillion worth of settlement, with zero of that going through crypto rails. We heard Brad Garlinghouse state they're hoping to have 30% of that going through crypto rails by 2030. Again, treasury management, custody, and stablecoin infrastructure. Built on the XRPL with 3 to 5 second finality, low cost, built for compliance, built for scale, and fully interoperable, works across assets, ledgers, and systems. So they've been expanding out the full deck for Ripple. Why? Why do you think they've been expanding out that full deck? I believe it's because just payments isn't going to cut it. They're going to need to be able to full out an all-in-one stop shop for their customers. The customers want the user experience. As this has gone on in crypto, even I have noticed this as we've been talking about it, as for retail users, ease of use is what's taking precedent, even over better technology. If something's easier to use and is not complicated, it's more assimilated to traditional finance, that is what's winning, along with security and privacy. And when we talk about those things, we have to talk again about what companies are comfortable with. And this is where RLUSD comes into play. Are they competition, or do they work together? They work together. They are different tools for two completely different purposes that reside in the same ecosystem. RLUSD is stable settlement asset. It's a stable settlement asset for on and off ramps that institutions can use, that they're familiar with. They got to crawl before they can walk. Enterprise accounting, it lines up with all of their current accounting. They don't have to make a whole bunch of changes for new crypto laws and things like that when it comes to taxes and moving value around. This is why stablecoins are going to be the primary on and off ramp for businesses, because it plugs right into what they already do. Compliance focused. It is built with regulatory standards. Again, their RLUSD treasuries are custodied with BNY Mellon. Now, XRP is neutral bridge liquidity, not a bridge liquidity currency. Neutral bridge liquidity facilitates value movement across any currency or asset. Open market asset traded on open markets, providing deep liquidity and price discovery. Cross-network interoperability, it moves value across change and exchanges and financial systems. So it has liquidity, speed, and interoperability. These are going to be the things that are going to be important for settling finance. Now, I know I'm already hearing the people chirp that it needs to be a higher price. We're going to talk about that later. But they are different tools for two completely different functions. They seamlessly feed off each other. They cannot solve the same problems. RLUSD adoption may increase XRP utility. More settlement activity on XRPL can drive more demand for XRP liquidity and network activity. That is the RLUSD flywheel. They do work together. RLUSD is not replacing XRP. They do two different functions. Now, here's the real question. How XRP potentially gains value. This is what we care about as retail holders. We cannot go out and directly invest in Ripple right now. So if we believe in these projects, our only exposure is by buying the actual native token. And the promise that a token is going to appreciate along with a blockchain is pure speculation. We have to look at the tokenomics, how it plugs in, and how it stands to gain value from the usage of the blockchain utility, right? So how XRP potentially gains value. Utility drives demand, demand drives activity, and activity creates scarcity. Institutional usage, number one, first and foremost. Banks, payment providers, exchanges, and enterprises use XRP for real-world settlement and liquidity. We need to see them use XRP for real world settlement and liquidity, not the XRPL, not RLUSD. We need to see them use XRP. Liquidity demand. More participants require XRP as a neutral bridge asset to move value instantly across borders and networks. So again, as more participants join into the ecosystem, should create more demand. Higher liquidity usage drives more transactions, payments, DEX activity, tokenization, and smart contract interactions on the XRPL. And XRP burns. You're going to start hearing about this a little bit more nowadays, I think. Every transaction on the XRPL permanently burns a tiny, tiny, tiny amount, 2 drops of XRP from circulation. As usage grows, XRP's supply is burned over time. Scarcity pressure increases while utility compounds value over the long term. Again, tiny amount, the actual burn ratio, even if they're doing the entire global amount of value through the XRPL, would take a lifetime to actually impact the price. But it is a vital piece of it, okay? So it's kind of following along the Bitcoin narrative, right? There is a fixed supply. There is only 100 billion. There will never be more. So it is deflationary by design. There will be no inflation ever. And it has the utility feature of it. So by the fact that it is completely deflationary does make it a viable store of value as well as its utility. Why institutions actually may care about this. The next financial system will be tokenized. We've already secured that note. Interoperable and instant. Today, or I've mentioned since the beginning of January that 2026 is going to be the year of interoperability and institutional adoption. If it's not able to work seamlessly across other platforms, it's not going to succeed. This is not going to be a one blockchain world. There's going to be more than one winner as everything continues to progress. But BNY Mellon is custodying assets surfacing in tokenized bonds, tokenized real estate. Strategic investor and ecosystem partner from SBI Holdings, DTCC with the market infrastructure integration, Archax, Ripple, digital securities, tokenized commodities, tokenized money, tokenized funds. Everything is moving on chain. Liquidity is, I'm waiting for this telegram to go away. Let me exit out of that. I apologize. But the shift is already happening. Tokenization is ramping up. It's an expected 30 trillion now by 2030. As long as these markets continue to come on chain and Ripple is processing these fees and XRP sits at the center of it, which they have annotated multiple times, it should continue to increase in price. But what is the internet parallel? I have a few different parallels that I like to compare to XRP and blockchain technology as a whole, but it's a different era and the same pattern. The opportunity that's circling around blockchain technology is massive. Back in the early 90s, when the internet first came out, it was slow connections, limited access with an uncertain future. Very few people actually believed in the internet in the early 90s. Everyone thought it was high risk, that it was a scam, that if you were putting your bank account information online, you were going to get robbed, that you were going to lose your money. We're starting to see those same parallels around blockchain technology. But as things have moved forward, we have a full tokenized economy today. We have tokenized real estate, tokenized bonds, tokenized money market funds now from BlackRock and JP Morgan taking place on Ethereum, commodity equities, DeFi liquidity, smart contracts. The DTCC is tokenizing on the Canton network and using Ripple Prime. Global access and instant settlement is no longer a theory. It is a real thing, and it is taking place today. How quickly will everything scale? That is the question to determine how bullish you are around your blockchain project. Not just XRP and not just Canton Coin, but any of your blockchain projects. How bullish are you around blockchain and tokenization adoption? So what are the long-term scenarios for XRP? I'm trying to present this a different way because many of us have seen the domino theories. Many of us have seen the high evaluations or the reasons why XRP has to be a high price. I've been saying from the beginning, I view XRP a different way. There is more than one way to look at XRP and it not be a failure. So what is the base case? And again, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You should always do your own research and your own due diligence. Based on my research, this was the price prediction from Claude for XRP. At the end of 2026, the base case is suggesting a $2 to $3 XRP. The bull case would be a $4 to $6 XRP. And the bear case would be a $1 to $1.50 XRP. Now, for the year 2030, $5 to $8, $10 to $15 for the bull case, or the bear case, $2 to $4. And in the base case, 2035, 10 years, $10 to $20 XRP. XRPL becomes core settlement infrastructure for a significant portion of global value. $30 plus for a bull case. Global financial rails run on XRPL. Massive velocity and utility drive extreme value accrual. Or on the bear side, XRPL remains a niche infrastructure with minimal global impact. I don't foresee that happening considering how large their infrastructure stack is and how great their evaluation is. Oh my goodness. How large their evaluation is going forward. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. My phone keeps going off. Telegram keeps going off. But what smart retail should actually watch? What do we need to pay attention to as things move forward? Because if you rewind back to the beginning of this, we talked about how things have changed since 2012, how the thesis has evolved and the company Ripple has changed. That can continue. If you think about Amazon started as a used bookstore online to what it is now. It's not even recognizable as a company. If you're going to survive and succeed in this world, you have to evolve and change, and that goes for companies too. But the things we need to watch out for, number one, XRPL transaction growth. Make sure you have XRP scam bookmarked and pay attention to what's actually taking place with the daily transactions. We want to see that rising up. The XRP burn rate, we want to see that increasing because we want to see deflationary pressure. Even though it's going to be minuscule, that is still reducing a fixed supply. As more and more people invest in XRP, there is going to get to a point where there's just not enough because it is deflationary. RLUSD adoption on the XRPL. Stablecoin growth drives utility. RLUSD is rising rapidly. They have become one of the top 5 players, and they just released, a year ago? Maybe? Some year and a half ago, tops? ODL volume expansion, on-demand liquidity for those who don't know. We need to see XRP, the token, play more of a role in that on-demand liquidity. Institutional partnerships. It needs to continue to grow and expand out. We're already seeing it with the DTCC. We want to see them capture some of those SWIFT cross-border payments. We want to start seeing value brought onto chain in way of revenue. Not just revenue for Ripple, revenue for the XRPL. And escrow management. Predictable supply, transparent system. 34 billion XRP are currently in escrow. We want to make sure the escrow management does not change or if there are any changes to escrow, how that's going to impact us as token holders. You got to watch the infrastructure and not listen to the hype narratives. We're trying to follow what's really taking place on chain and how it's directly or truly going to impact the token, because that's the only thing we have access to as retail investors to invest in right now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That was a large one there to talk about. How long are we at? 21 minutes? Felt like it was longer. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let's hop into the chat and see what everyone is doing today. Let me get out of this screen so I can follow up. Not really any new news, so to speak. As of today, it's a quiet Saturday morning. The news cycle has died down. Let's find the chat screen here. Hopefully everyone's having a good Saturday. Dazzle Ford was first in the house today, saying big up Scott, saying he had his notification on so he wouldn't miss it. Yeah, something's weird going on with YouTube right now. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bar. I've heard about it, or notification bell for that matter. I've heard about it from a few other influencer YouTubers as well, that their viewers are not getting notified of their streams. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Otherwise, it may not let you know we're going live. Quant is doing nicely. Hope it keeps on track over the weekend. I agree. I do have a little bit of Quant in my dart throws. Judah in the house saying he's back. What's up? Let's get things popping. Well, prices are falling today with a few exceptions, so everyone's a little meh. It's so hard to price guess XRP at the moment. It shot up to $1.55, then fell straight back down. Yeah, I mean, there's no predicting it at this point. I've given up trying to do price predictions. I've given up trying to do technical analysis because no one knows. No one knows. They can pretend to know, but they don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion of it. Dazzle Force said he just bought some H-bar and Zebek. User KP says, hello, appreciate your hard work. God bless you and your family along with everyone else. Thank you. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Those are the absolute best way that you can help out the channel. Dazzleforce says it's hard to predict price. Didn't ETH go from like $8 to $1,000 overnight? I think I remember that. It was pretty ridiculous. I mean, FOMO can do crazy things. Thirsty Fish says, I don't know why, but I'm not a fan of H-bar. I'm honestly not either. It has very, very poor tokenomics. I mean, it has some staking options that are like 2%, but what drives value to the token? If someone can find something other than, oh, as the network appreciates, but what does the token do? What does the H-bar token do that's going to make it scarce or drive value to it? I haven't been able to find anything. Someone educate me, please. No problem, Thirsty. Yes, everyone has their own favorite coins. Absolutely. And a quick announcement too. Any of my Canton people, if you are a Braun wallet holder and you want to join the Longview Crew Club or the LVC Club on Braun, let me know. I can send you a NFT that will get you 30% off trading fees. So if you're a Braun wallet holder on the Canton network, let me know. I can get you 30% off fees. I'm XRP, H-bar, and Zebek Thirsty. All right. I mean, I do love my XRP, my Zebek, and my Canton network. Not so much H-bar anymore these days. Happy Saturday to the good people, says D. Curry. Niang Chan says hello to everybody. Welcome back to the stream, Niang. Todd Madison in the house today. What's going on, Todd? Dazzleforce says Jake the Fake. What's he saying price is going to be at these days? Is he still saying like $100 or $1,000 or something? Judah, hi all that are just joining. Welcome everybody. Mr. Pump and Dump. What's a pump and dump? Thirsty Fish says I'm XRP, XLM, Quant, BNB, Near, AVEX, Link, Render, ETH, Bitcoin, Atom, DOT. That's all. So Thirsty Fish Index Fund. Got it. You need to create your own index fund on the S&P 500 for crypto, Thirsty Fish. Manny says XRP is a scam. Okay. Nice. Okay, Manny. See you at 77 cents. What is your favorite crypto, Manny? What crypto do you support? Let me know. I'm curious what you are supporting if you don't like XRP. Michael Watson in the house today. What's going on, Michael? JPMC does not run a cross-border test for fun. Watch Titans of Wall Street. JPMC may want that XRPL. Oh, I've seen Titans of Wall Street. Believe me, I've mentioned it several times. They did use the XRPL, but XRP wasn't used. It was worked with Ondo Finance. I believe they used their stable coin. Thirsty Fishes, yeah, probably 77 cents. I honestly thought about swapping it for Quant on Friday. It's funny to watch a lot of the XRP guys with integrity start to glaze Canton CC. You were one of the first ones. That's why you're the first channel I ever joined. I love my CC. And the reason I first started researching Canton is because they were heading after institutional players. That's where the money is, right? And that's the same reason that I went after XRP back in 2019. And then I started researching the tokenomics and researching the blockchain and what they were trying to do. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense to me. This is where I think finance is going. And that's why I try to align myself with those institutional layers and present that information to you guys and let you make up your own mind. I try not to do price predictions. I try to give price scenarios. I sold CC at 17 cents and bought the dip at 14.3. Yeah, it's until, I mean, I'm not doing the buying and selling. I have mine staked for yield. But as long as utility stays where it is, I have a feeling it's going to continuously come back to that like 14.8 area. I think is where it's going to hover around between 14.5 and 15 cents until we see more burn actually taking place to drive the utility, because there's not really any leverage, so to speak, being traded on Canton Coin. You know, there is one ETF, but there's no futures, driving it either. So there's really not a ton of liquidity behind the token itself as far as trading volume. Jarl said good afternoon. Good morning to y'all. Smash that like button. Yes, if you guys could hit the like button, I do appreciate it. It helps the stream, helps the channel, and it does make you feel better. You'll smile. It doesn't even make you break a sweat. I appreciate that, Judah. Nathan, Crypto Bellwether has me questioning all my crypto except Canton. Well, everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own way. I've actually had this very same conversation with Crypto Bellwether. I talked to Ray on the phone and we were discussing our beliefs, see if we would, work to have some kind of dual, commentary collaboration type thing. And we do have different beliefs on a lot of different crypto. He's much more pessimistic than I am, I'll tell you that. With XRP, it's happening slowly but surely, quietly in the background. I tend to agree with you. I unless there is some kind of supply shock feature, I don't see shooting up over anything. But again, one of those situations where I'm investing in the long term, and if something like that happens, I'll gladly be wrong. I never question my choices. You can't. You have to go with your instinct. And the more you go with your instinct, the more accurate it becomes. You learn from that. Crypto made a compelling case for a $50 CC price in a few years. I would be ecstatic with $5. I think is very doable. Yeah, I actually came across that video this morning and I was like, holy crap. I made my price video for CC just in the nick of time, because now we've got people like Crypto Hulk coming into the space. James does crypto or something like that. He came into the space now with it. So keep that in mind. Canton is a very hot commodity right now. It's one of those highly searched keywords right now because of everything that's been going on. So you're going to start seeing a lot more creators making videos in the space. Be careful. Don't fall for the hype. Long view. We've been here for 3 months talking about this. All these new hype videos are coming in with these new narratives. Make sure to buckle down. Dollar cost average for the long view. Not financial advice, but I've been saying it for 3 months, and so far it's been working out with Canton. At a $5 Canton would have about a 200 billion market cap. Yeah, that would put it in like the top 3. I think that's fairly reasonable. Why is XRP real value has nothing to do with the price? So why buy? If XRP's real value has nothing to do with the price, why buy it? Because of its future value. Again, I'm investing in my investments based on what they're going to be in 5 to 10 years. Right now, when I look at it, if you look at Ripple, I can clearly see they're a $50 billion evaluated company. They just got listed in the top 10 of private companies in the world. Okay, Ripple is going to be successful. XRP is plugged in at the center of that one way or another. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's up to you. But XRP is plugged in at the center of that infrastructure and is going to be involved. How involved? We'll find out as things evolve over the next 10 years. That's why this is speculative, right? But it solves a layer in the financial stack that has to be solved as far as the liquidity. And we can see it already taking place when we look at what's happening with this DTCC pilot, when we look at JP Morgan testing cross-border payments on the XRPL. Sure, it didn't use XRP, but this is how these things start. We are completely changing the financial system. The financial bedrock is literally shifting beneath our feet right now. As the world changes to tokenization and everything moves on blockchain, over the next 3 to 5 years, nothing will be the same. Look at the last 3 to 5 years from now. Nothing is the same. That's the whole point of talking about this video, is that XRP is not the same. So what are we doing? We're investing in the future value, the speculative value of XRP, the speculative value of Canton Coin, the speculative value of Hyperliquid. If we're just buying them for what they are, that's not an investment, right? That's just transferring value. My opinion, not financial advice. You should always do your own research. At $5, Canton would have a 200 billion market cap, but market cap will be kept in check by the insane burns. This is very, very true. And if it were to have a 200 billion market cap, that would put it into a top 3 token, which is honestly where I believe it belongs in the future. That's why I'm investing in it regularly, but I dollar cost average in. XRP burns fractions of a penny. Do you know how many transactions it would need just to burn $100? XRP's burn mechanics won't do much price, not even if they burn the escrow supply. Again, I stated that during the rollout that I didn't think the burns were going to do anything in our lifetime. However, it is a deflationary asset. There won't be more of it. So as it grows out, as it gets purchased, it will become more and more scarce. More and more scarce than fiat, more and more scarce than Bitcoin, right? As far as the amount that's available, because Bitcoin is not being burned, right? It's still being mined. There's 21 million, but it's not quote unquote deflationary, whereas Bitcoin are going away. But even at that, you have to factor in agentic commerce. That burn rate will be insane. Again, that's true. Things are going to evolve over the next 3 to 5 years. With AI and agentic commerce, all of that's going to be taking place on the blockchain, primarily with stablecoins and native crypto. Does any of you feel like Brad, Larson, and Schwartz have been laughing at XRP holders for like a decade now? I sometimes feel like Schwartz is, but that's only because people just take everything he says and spin it into 30 different directions. You know what I mean? Daniel Green, what will be the top 5 coins in 2030? Oh, Jesus. Top 5 by market cap or top 5 by ROI from now? Bitcoin's going to be up there. Ethereum's still going to be up there. I don't know if XRP holds on to it or not. And again, so much can change between now and 2030. I don't think BNB is going to hang on to it. I do think Canton's going to be in there. So I would say in order, my top 5 by market cap would be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Canton, XRP, and hyper liquid. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion by market cap, what I think things are going to look like in 2030. Not financial advice. Going to happen way, way faster than 2030. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I'm not talking about just the DTCC. The DTCC says the full rollout's going to take place this October, but I'm talking about 2030 for the use of XRP and the native token actually being used, burned, held, all of those things. We need to see appreciation in token price, not just data moving back and forth on the XRP ledger. That's cool, but what's it doing for the token? I'm sorry. I'm a retail holder. All I can do is buy the token. Show me the money. What can it do for the token? That's what I focus on. Raul in the house saying, good afternoon, Longview. SVJ says, whenever anyone mentions XRP in the headlines, they don't mean XRP, the coin value, but Ripple and the company's value. Oftentimes, yes. And actually, one of the things I've seen discussed amongst large influencers, I'll just put it that way. One of the things I've seen discussed around large influencers is using XRP versus XRPL. And they're like, oh, I dropped the L off that years ago. So anytime they're talking about the XRPL, they're just saying XRP. That's number one. We will moon in 2027. I hope so. And thank you for the gift. I appreciate that. I haven't gotten to that point. Oh my goodness, this chat is blowing up. Different factors can affect price, like when the Clarity Act gets signed by Donald J. Trump. I still think we're going to have a sell the news event when that happens. Mark my words. I've been saying that for a while. But when he signs it, I think we're going to have a sell the news event. Hey, Scott, when is your collab with Zebek Nation? I believe I'm supposed to record with them tonight. I have to follow up with them. I haven't talked to them in a few days. We were trying to record tonight, but I don't know if that's taking place or not. Raul says, I need more quant. Isn't it funny how I talk about it? I love it when I talk about a token and then it starts going up in price. I love it when that happens. Maybe that means XRP is going to start going up in price. Canton does more settlement volume in a month than XRP has done in 14 years on XRP. Does about 5,000 a day, and revenue, Canton does about 2 million a day. Again, to be fair, Canton serves a different role. CC serves a different role than XRP. CC is the gas. XRP is a bridge token. Different roles. We're not comparing apples to apples here. So the revenue does not directly impact XRP's price. The perceived value of XRP by the holders is what determines its price, on how much they need to hold, how scarce it is. All of those things, how often it's being used, will determine how scarce it is. If Ripple and XRP doesn't need clarity to grow, it's odd why it's not doing better. I guess we need to see things going forward. I have always been a proponent that they need clarity. Knowing what something isn't is not the same as knowing what something is. And anything that's been announced, done, written right now can be changed under a new administration until that Clarity Act is signed into law. Period. So it is still very important. The bulk of money, you have to remember, we're at 0.01% of the money that is coming on chain. We're at 0.01% globally right now. So we are so early into where things are heading right now. What's the deal with hype CME and regulatory issues? Is that going away? I think they're working on it. We're going to find out. I don't have any information on that just yet. I do know they're working on it. Sui is about to start doing some good things, especially with their slushy app and new staking options with RWA. And, oh no, that was Uniswap that had the BlackRock support. Sui is doing okay. They're an interesting project. I'm not personally invested in them. I mix Sui and Uniswap up a lot for some reason. How many XRP do you own? Also, do you think it'll go up? Well, that's not for me to share. I'm not telling you how much XRP I own. I have a substantial stack. I can tell you I'm firmly in the top 10% of holders. So how about that? HBAR going after the insurance market. Good luck. They gotta get through Canton first on that. Canton's already in the insurance market, and quite frankly, I hope H-Bar loses that one. $1 million per Jake. Okay, I would love to be wrong. I would love for Jake to be right. Tiny Dancer says, thanks, Scott. Excellent analysis. I'm just trying to keep it real with you guys. I'm not trying to make any moonshot promises. If that happens, that's great. But I'm about investing steadily over the next 10 years because I believe these assets are actually going to be a part of the new financial infrastructure and will appreciate. But all these moonshot theories and stuff, I understand a lot of that happened in 2019, 2020, 2021. But other than like the random meme coin that had a moonshot since 2021, when have we seen that? What was the last 1000x or 100x you saw take place over the course of a year that didn't give it back? Name one, please. We will see Canton at 0.145 or less again, looking to buy more. Well, I mean, it was down in the 14.5 cent range this morning. Again, I think the 14.5 area right now is kind of the floor until we start seeing more burn taking place. I think it's going to keep coming back and tapping that unless we get a bunch of FOMO. But again, my opinion, I'm not a technical analysis guy, but that's the pattern I'm seeing. It seems to consistently being falling back to a floor depending on where that burn to mint equilibrium is. So it needs more burn to maintain the price, or it needs more buying power, more buying volume from retail participants. Chainlink versus Python network. Could you take a look into that? I'll take a look. I can tell you right now, I honestly don't know much about Python. And I can tell you right now, I'm already leaning Chainlink because of their market dominance. But Python may have better tokenomics. I need to look at it. So I'll certainly take a look. I think that's an interesting comparison. Where do you stake your CC and what makes you feel comfortable with the platform you are using? Okay. So currently, I am staking on Alpend. I'll show you. Alpend is currently in pre-beta. Let me pull it up here for you. Alpend is currently in private beta. So you have to have an invitation to get in. They were gracious enough to give me an invitation and let me test it out. And I did a video on it yesterday that showed you how to do it. So you can go through and get the full breakdown of how to stake your CC. But I do want to point something out. So this is Alpend. You have to go to alpend.com and sign up for their whitelist. And then I am going to be having them on the channel to discuss. They were actually messaging me on Telegram while I was streaming. But I am going to be having them on the channel to discuss. They're going to come in and give me 5 to 10 access codes for this. And they have both borrowing and lending. So when I say staking, it's technically lending, but most people only know the term staking. So what I'm doing is I'm lending them my CC at 8.32% interest right now. So I have some, well, this isn't all my CC, but I have a large chunk of my CC sitting in here being staked right now. I just put it in yesterday morning. I've already earned 3.34 CC in the first day. I can withdraw it at any time. If I want to, I can borrow. I can borrow against my wallet. My wallet is connected to this app. So I can borrow CC right now at 2.6% against my wallet and then restake it at 8.32% and just earn, just under 6% on money that's not even mine. That's what people were doing with the Japanese carry trade, right? Getting those 0% bonds and redeploying them to make money. Same concept, but that is where I'm doing it right now. You can go to alpend.com and join the whitelist. I am going to have them on the channel soon, and they will be giving me 5 to 10 whitelist access codes for my viewers. I'm really excited to have them on so we can do that because they are, real quickly too, just to show you. Kelly asked an excellent question yesterday because Yuval himself was on this channel and said this exact thing. He's like, if you're getting offered 20% yield, where's the risk? Where's the risk? This is an institutional platform. This is for institution and retail. What you're seeing right now, this 8.32% APY that I'm getting, this is bonus APY. So the standard APY right now that they're offering, the base without bonuses is 0.32%. But Because of the bonus, I'm getting 8.32% right now. And same for USDC. The base APY is 2.54%, but they're giving a 15% bonus right now because they want the liquidity. Why do I feel safe doing this? Because it's on the Canton network, and Alpend is not some small potatoes company. But again, all DeFi comes with the risk of loss. And when I see backing on the Canton network, I had to go through getting whitelisted on the DevNet. I have an app that I'm working on that's live on the DevNet right now. It's a community app for Canton holders. I know what you have to go through to get listed on the mainnet and for them to give you permission to do this. The super validator backing, the legal background checks that you have to all of those things, the licensing that you have to do. Believe me, there's a slew of things that they have to get done before Canton Network will even give them mainnet access to do this. It's not some random thing that floats around on some DeFi protocol. But that's the thing about having privacy and governance is there's more control over who gets access so you don't get screwed. But again, my opinion, not financial advice. Back to the chat. Hopefully that answered your question, though. Let's take a look. Let me pull the chat back up here if I can find the right screen. I like XRP, but when I researched CC, I realized this is where finance is going. I see it. Canton is the golden child of digital assets. $10 to $13 is a breeze by my 59th birthday in 2029. I hope you're right. I'm be happy with $3 to $5 by 2030. That's my hope for it. If it goes beyond that, I would be fantastically happy. Dazzle Forward Army says XRP Army. Bert says, I'm going to use your link for Caleb and Brown, but I don't see a phone app. And just to make sure, the link is in your description. Yes, the link is in my description. It should take you straight to them. And they do have a phone app. I have it on mine. When you get to the webpage, they'll prompt you about it too. So check it out. They do have a phone app. Uncle Ray makes money as a bear. He shorts cryptos. He ain't wrong in his insights, but you have to be bullish sometimes too. No hate, all love. I enjoy his opinions. Well, over the last couple years, he's been very, very correct, right? I mean, he's been doing very well shorting the pumps, and a lot of cryptos are very, very overhyped. Let's be honest. Most people bought in at the top. Believe me, I know. I hear from them when they come into the channel. So a lot of people bought in at the top and are in that pain and were that exit liquidity for the shorters like Ray. Now, everyone has their own way, and he's made a lot of money. I like to dollar cost average in over the long term. That's my style of doing it. When XRP is at $10 to $15, I'd bet my life CC is also around $10 to $15, guaranteed. If that's the case, I'll see you guys from my private island. If XRP and CC both go to $10 to $15, I'll see you guys later. Most of us care about after hearing this for the past 7 to 8 years is money. Exactly. And that's why I try to focus on the retail perspective as the token holder. What does it mean for us? What do we need to see for us to gain value by holding the token? If you're interested in the future, you really need to do a deep dive on Internet Computer Protocol. It's the future of everything. I hear you, RLC. You without fail every stream. I will talk about it at some point. Connexus, get it before it's gone. Connexus? Can you buy Connexus? JP Morgan's chain? Dazzlefor says, I ain't feeling Canton. Sorry, just a personal choice. Hey, that's fine. I am not offended. Dazzlefor. Bear in mind, XRP has done its job for many early investors. Now, because of a shift change, it will rise slowly. We shall see. Again, we saw the breakdowns. But again, I was never of the vein that it was going to be, a crazy, crazy high price super quickly. I know a lot of people said that. I tried to temper that and got a lot of pushback. People do not understand $50 trillion market cap for all of crypto. Right. And I don't know if it's going to get to a 50 trillion market cap for all of crypto, but I think a 10 to 15 trillion market cap by 2030 is certainly realistic. Honestly, I do factor in that amount of growth as possible. I agree with the thesis that if banks use XRP as a liquidity bridge for billions, then the price would need to be in the hundreds of dollars to increase liquidity and reduce slippage. I would agree with that, Todd. Yes. But is it acting as the bridge liquidity right now? Right now, it is not. So that's the concern. And that's why I made a point to bring that up when we were discussing that very, very specific part. 50 trillion market cap for crypto is around the corner of 5 years, 600 billion of it with Canton. That would be nice. That would be nice. Brad and team are not laughing at retailers. It's just business. Todd Madison 211 says, I don't think the banks have a choice. What other settlement layer can handle that amount of transactions? That's what we're going to have to find out as things continue to move forward. Thank you for the gift, Woodpin. Oh, you sent Sunshine. I see. Tron. You want me to cover Tron? I've been looking into Tron. FOMO. Okay. Top 5 by market cap in 2030 in order. Bitcoin, ETH, CC, XRP, hype. Yeah, that's what I thought. We'll see if I'm right. We can ring this back in 2030 and see how right or wrong I was. Well, more than likely, we'll see how wrong I was. FOMO is real. FOMO is a very real thing. It's social proof, right? It's to say the same thing. How do I put it? Let's see here. Here's a how would you guys like to do a social experiment with FOMO right now? Because we can prove that FOMO is real right now in stream. Seriously. Because social proof is what drives more social proof. So when we're talking about stocks, when price is going up and everyone's hopping into it, people are like, this has value because these people think it has value. Other people are telling me it has value. The same thing takes place in a live stream on YouTube. The more you guys like the stream, the more you guys comment, the more you guys engage with what are they? The emotes or the emotions, the more you hype it up, the more you engage around it, and the longer you stay here, the more people will come into it because it gives them the social proof that this is a good stream. So we can prove it right now. Everybody start engaging right now with the stream. Hit the like button, start hitting the reactions, start commenting, start doing all of those things, and you will see the stream incline real fast. And if we stop with the engagement, it'll start to decrease as people leave. But it's the same thing. It's social proof. I buy it and it goes down. Well, stop buying it then, Raul. No, I'm just joking. Caleb and Brown has CC. Yes. Easy and safest with Caleb and Brown. Yes. I have personally bought Canton Coin on Caleb and Brown. I've bought it on Robinhood. I've bought it on OKX. And I have transferred off all 3 of those platforms to a wallet, to a cold storage wallet, to a warm wallet. I have 3 separate wallets that I use now to hold my CC. If you need a cold storage wallet, there's only one, folks. It's the CypherRock X1. Links in the description. They are running 25% off right now. I strongly suggest getting the standard or the pro, not the basic. I strongly suggest getting the standard or the pro. But that is the only thing that can store CC. The good news is it can store like 18,000 other tokens. So it can store your XRP. It can store your Ethereum-based ones. And they're working on getting Wallet Connect so you can sign in the apps as well on Canton Network. Top 5 coins in 2030. XRP, Zebek, HBAR, BTC, and ETH. Oh my goodness, Dazzleford. Trying to break my heart. Well, XRP be number 1, so I'd still be doing well. Again, as long as 1 or 2, so I'd have XRP and Zebek. As long as 1 or 2 of my tokens does well, then I'm going to do well. I invest in 5. I also like Circle stock right now, but I will be investing in their new token when that becomes available after the initial sell-off when it comes out, of course. It's the most energy efficient blockchain available. IBM and bought into a lot of big companies, okay? I called Jake Mr. White Teeth. Oh, all right. What am I, Mr. Yellow Teeth? You trying to tell me I need to go to the dentist? XRP don't need clarity. It's the institutions that need the legal clarity. There you go, Mr. Watson. Now you're tracking. Sebek number 22 by market cap between 29 and 32. That would be a very big push from where it is now. ICP makes Chainlink obsolete, saying it with love. Again, and I say this with love. Just because something is the better tech does not mean it's going to win. You got to watch where the money flows. You could have the best tech in the world. If you don't have the customers paying you the money, you're going to go away. So the top 5 says KGS, XRP, Chainlink, Sebek, ICP, and HBAR. You think Bitcoin's going to fall out of the top 5? My goodness. Let's see. Canton might do 10.5 cents in a flash crash, but it would have to be like 10 out of 10. It is quite stable, unlike XRP from $3.69 down to $1.03 with these crashes. Lies. What are lies? What are the lies? Dazzleforce says, I heard the banks are going to stop yield on stablecoins, part of the crypto bill. Yes, you can't earn yield on stablecoins that are dormant. They have to be involved in some kind of active participation. Putting them into a liquidity pool is lending. It's a form of staking, right? But it's technically lending. And that is a workaround because it's being actively put into a lending protocol. Off centralized, all crap bias assets. Anything real? No. Okay. Can you stake Canton if you buy through Caleb and Brown, or is it something you cannot do, or would Caleb and Brown do it for you? No, you actually have to put your Canton coin into a wallet and participate in DeFi on the Canton network. Caleb and Brown cannot do that for you. This guy on YouTube is tough to understand. Can't we link to DeFi directly from CipherRock? No, you cannot link Canton DeFi directly to CipherRock. You can switch tokens, but they do not have Wallet Connect yet. Until they have Wallet Connect available where you can sign in other apps for your Canton coin, you can't. Until you have the ability to sign from your CipherRock wallet through Wallet Connect on the Canton network, you can't directly link it up like I did with my Loop wallet to Alpend. So you have to have that Wallet Connect feature. I talked to them about it today. He said he's going to talk to me and get back to me on it. I actually had a meeting with CipherRock this morning. I am going to be one of their partners because they are the only cold storage wallet for CC. But I am pressing them about the Wallet Connect feature because I want that as an app developer on the Canton network. Wallet is safer to store crypto than Caleb and Brown. I don't know about that. I mean, Caleb and Brown has free institutional grade custody. But at the same time, like for instance, the CipherRock cold wallet, they do have a seed phrase, but you can lose the seed phrase. You can recover it as long as you have 2 of your assets, like a vault and a card or 2 cards. And they actually have an inheritance feature to where you can put an inheritance person and they can claim your crypto in case of your death, unfortunately. Hoping Jeff can get Americans access to Hyperliquid. He was in DC a few days ago. We'll see. He's trying. Brad says XRP sits at the heart of everything Ripple does. I'm concerned that means Brad and Chris sell 300 million worth of XRP every month, but XRP only generates 5K per day in revenue. Got my Connexus on Coinbase Dex. Okay, so you can buy Connexus. Is just acting as a gas coin. XRP is just acting as a gas coin. Right now, it is. It's hard to say otherwise right now, but right now it is. I have no doubt in my mind that Ripple will succeed, but increasingly convinced this will be achieved via an IPO. Ripple's share price, Ripple Prime, retail holders may be left holding the XRP bag. Market cap is about 2.8 trillion for all of crypto now. XRP needs 1 trillion of that to massively pump the price. I'm ready to start stacking my CC. I think you mean staking, Raul. Or stacking works too. I got my market cap is BTC, XRP, CC, Sebek, and Hyperliquid. Oh my goodness. You're going to get rich off Sebek if that's the case. Raul says Tron. I will get major FOMO if Canton goes under 10 cents. Okay. Zebek only has 384 million market cap. It does have a very small market cap. Have you picked out your island yet? Because it's happening unless you fail diamond hands. I'm not selling anything anytime soon. I do have a nice place picked out that I would like to go in near the Mediterranean, actually. Daniel Green says, I like the Braun wallet. I do too. I like the Braun wallet. To me, honestly, the Braun wallet is the most secure and has the most features. But at the same time, Braun costs money. I don't know how else to put it. You get a 14-day free trial, but it costs $20 a month, or you have to stake their Braun token, which is about $600 or $700 worth, to be honest with you. So a lot of smaller retail players are not going to go with the Braun wallet because they're just not going to carry that much. That's why, you know, the Cypher Rock wallet's going to be a good option, or the Loop wallet is going to be a good option. The store around the corner says, what's up? I'm late. But Daniel, if you do use the Braun wallet regularly, if you're not a part of a club already, let me know. I'll get you in the LVC club. I'll send you the NFT so you get 30% off your trading fees with Braun. Raul says yellow teeth. Oh man, now I'm all like self-conscious. I had to talk like this in the mic so y'all can't see my teeth. We're so early. I can't wait till we're priced out of buying Zebek, CC, etc. I agree. We are very, very early. That store around the corner, glad you made it. I don't know much, but I believe the price of XRP will move up once it's used up. Okay. What other projects are offering lending, CC, or staking? I know OneSwap has liquidity pools, and I believe there's another one. I have to look into it. I know there's at least one or two. I have to look into it more. I know OneSwap has the liquidity pools as well, but it's like point something percent. Nathan says yes. Can't beat Tangem. 6 million units sold. Never been hacked. I've got my Tangem right here. I have links in the description. I'm a Tangem holder. I love Tangem, but I can't store my CC on Tangem, unfortunately. I use Tangem for my other stuff. Raul Escobar says both stacking and staking. I got you. Well, I'll talk to Alpend and see about getting some more codes. What you think about Cypher Rock? I don't like the card idea. Can I use it without the cards? No, you need the card. You have to have the card and you have to have the vault. I'll show you. Hang on. All right. So this is the vault. It has a little touch screen on it. You can go back and look. I did a full setup video on this, but it's got a touch screen on it. So the way this works is you actually have to plug this into your computer, and then you'll sign into the Braun app. And then before you do any transaction, it makes you verify in here, enter the PIN number that you create in here, and then it makes you tap your card to here. So it's like triple verified for anyone to move anything out of your wallet, which personally, when it comes to wallets, I'm okay with taking the extra steps to make sure I don't get hacked. I'm okay with taking the extra steps of getting things in and out of my wallet so someone can't come do it easily. No one's getting into this. Braun and Cypher Rock are very, very, very secure wallets. And because of the multi-card system, you're not reliant on a seed phrase. If you lose your seed phrase, you're not screwed. You can recover it with 2 of the cards or with a card and a vault. Grok says cold wallet is safer than Caleb and Brown. Remember, not your keys, not your crypto. There you go. Daniel Green says, oh, nice, Scott. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Dude, what is the best, safest web browser to use? I can't answer that question, but this is an important thing. I actually reached out to Norton because I do believe this very much so. I actually reached out to Norton. I am going to be an affiliate of Norton Antivirus because, for the love of God, if you're working with wallets, crypto, thousands of dollars of personal information flowing through your computer, have it protected, guys. We're talking about the most valuable information to you, with the exception of your family, is living on your computer. If you're not spending $30 a month to protect your computer, but you'll spend $200 a month or $300 a month to insure a car that's $40,000. Come on, guys. Got to be smarter than that. Antivirus protection is just insurance for your computer and for your personal information. You need to make sure you take your safety seriously. I would hate to see any of you get hacked and lose your money. You can store your CC on Tangem, you just have to wrap it. No, you can't. I talked to Tangem. No, thank you. I've talked to Tangem multiple times. They currently do not support CC, and it is not on the roadmap to be supported at this time. They're looking into it. No AI tokens in your stack. No, I was looking into Tau at one point, but then everything happened with that subnet stuff, and it scared me off of it. I don't like wrapping it. I'm full-blown just straight network coin. I asked Decent, no answer. I spoke to Decent as well. It's currently not on their roadmap, and they currently do not support Canton Coin. So I've talked to all of them. I've talked to Ledger, I've talked to LEPAL, I've talked to Tangem. I've literally talked to all of these hardware developers. All three of those developers have said they don't support it, and it's not currently on their roadmap. They're looking into it. That's it. The only one that says they're actively working on it is Ledger. Tangem sent me a rating and review, and I said, you all need to accept Canton. They text me back saying they're looking into it. Yeah, it's not on their roadmap right now. Just want to say well done on the growth of your channel these last few weeks, Scott. Your video on CC price and fundamentals that will drive it was superb. Big kudos for your great CC content. Thank you. And thank you to all of you. Because of you guys, the channel has been growing. And I honestly think it's not just Canton. I think I just kind of found my groove with bringing up the slides and talking about everything from a retail perspective and giving everyone else a voice to talk about the tokens that they're involved in the community. Because secondly, to just growing this channel, and secondly, to building the app, right? And the app is also being built for the community. This is a community channel. We're about building a different form of crypto community that's focused on long-term investing and not pump and dump scams and schemes. About building education so we're in the right place in the next 10 years. I'm thinking of diversifying into an AI coin. Tau, what's your thoughts? I was about to do Tau not long ago, and then that whole fiasco happened with like their largest client or largest subnet leaving and the price crashed, and there's supposedly all these like backdoor deals and stuff like that. So no, I stayed away from them. Appreciate you, Paul. I used Malwarebytes, was a good service. Okay. Hi, I bought Zebek. I'm doubtful XRP will increase substantially until liquidity gets used up and scarcity. Okay. I have wrapped CC on Tangem. It's being provided by a liquidity company for Canton. Okay, but here's the thing. If you have wrapped CC on Tangem, your CC's not actually stored with your cold storage wallet. It's being provided by a liquidity company externally, right? So, I mean, if you're comfortable wrapping it and storing it in Tangem, then that's for you. But as long as you know that you're not actually holding CC on your wallet, that it's a representation of what a liquidity provider is holding. VVV Venice, okay. Think about it. Canton hit the market late. It's harder to buy and store. It must be the chosen one. Then again, I'm into conspiracy theories. So I have my conspiracy theories or two. Every once in a while, you guys get me to put my tinfoil hat on and start speculating in the Hangouts, but I try to keep it pretty grounded. I'm staking Near and Cosmo and Solana. Says CC main competitor is XLM. Grok says XLM outshines CC. Okay. I disagree. And again, remember, Grok is only as good as the prompt. Ask Grok about CC and factor in the DTCC pilot. Ask Grok to do deep research and scan recent adoptions and partnerships for Canton Network and XLM. Have Grok take a strong look at tokenomics for both of them. You have to really command the prompt on what's going to drive token value. XYO is a decent AI project. Raul says, keep asking questions. You trying to get me to talk for 4 hours again today, Raul? That was a big one yesterday, man. Whew. They will all work together. I agree with you. I think it's going to come down to the year of interoperability, and everyone's going to have to work together or they're going to go away. And the native tokens, if they don't have a way of producing real value, they're going to start to go away too. That's just my personal opinion. And again, thank you to everyone for taking the time to be here. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. Special thanks to my members. The membership team is growing. Again, remember, live members only live stream and Zoom meeting on Wednesdays where everyone can talk, hang out, interact one-on-one, talk about different ideas, thoughts, processes. You can get CC on Bitpanda, but they hold the keys. Now, I mean, I'd rather buy CC on Robinhood or Kraken or OKX and just transfer it to one of my wallets, or Caleb and Brown if you don't want to buy it on an exchange. Again, by the way, too, link to OKX in the description. They're giving away $30 worth of free Bitcoin for signing up and depositing $1. So if you want a free $30, you can do that. I figured I'd help you guys out with that. But yeah, Kraken has CC, OKX has CC. Temple New York has CC, Robinhood has CC, Caleb and Brown has CC, and all of those places you can transfer to a cold storage wallet. Uphold, you cannot. Again, the only cold storage wallet that supports CC is CipherRock Wallet. Links in the description. Once utility is needed from XRP liquidity pools, XRP goes up and decouples from Bitcoin. I hope you are right, my friends. I hope you are right. VeChain is expanding, and AI seems like a global leader in that niche they are servicing. I got a lot of hate for my VeChain video. I got a lot of hate for that. I got called stupid in more ways than one because it's not ISO compliant. I'm like, not everything has to be ISO compliant to function. It's not a payment token. It's not doing the messaging standard. So not everything. Now, granted, it's not US based either, which has a lot of people thrown for a loop. But again, that's why everyone does their own research. All right, guys, make sure you like the stream on the way out. I'm going to get off here. I have to talk to a couple people, but I will be back on Monday at noon. All right, I'll catch you guys later.